It's a very exciting day at RFG. We just hit the wires with the news that we have made a strategic investment in Zocks as part of their Series B round that was led by QED and Lightspeed. And we've also shared that we've had two very important appointments to our board of directors, Zocks CEO and co-founder Mark Gilbert and Jim Patrick, who was group president at Envestnet for more than a decade and just, brilliant on the institutional investment side. What's your take on this news?
Well, I know this is Disruption Podcast, so I'm going to say, first off, the industry is going through so much disruption right now with AI, more so now on the tech side than I've ever seen in my career. And having Mark Gilbert join RFG is just such a coup for us strategically. Zocks is funded by some of the best venture capital players in the market, Lightspeed and QED, and they are in a great place to disrupt a lot of traditional models in our space. And so having Mark seat at the table, helping us direct that with all the resources that he has, this partnership is going to be fantastic for RFG and all of our advisors.
So, going under the hood a little bit, obviously we're working on a tremendous amount of innovation for how Zocks is going to power ClickONE. Why does that matter to to our advisors, looking at RFG? What's really going on? What are we building?
Well, I think there's a difference in the market when, what's real, what's not real, the sizzle factor. RFG, all of this is built on data, and unless there's this amazing stat that's out in the space now, and you can find it anywhere, is less than 3% of the RIA market has a digital strategy, meaning they have some coherent digital capability, whether it's in Snowflake or somewhere else. And that's something that RFG has been working on for many years. So that foundational piece is in place. Now, what do you do with it? There's an orchestration layer that will be on top of that capability. That's where our partnership with Zocks comes in. So how do you display data both for business intelligence? So how do I run a great business? RFG advisors are owners and they're independent. So how do they increase enterprise value? We can now show them that through this orchestration layer. And then second, which is super exciting, is agentic capabilities, meaning actionable capabilities to make your business more efficient. And there we are at the tip of the iceberg with that. ClickONE is the first place that we're going, but there is a lot more coming, and it's coming in like light speed. Like in 3 months, our dev teams with Zocks will do more work than have probably been done in 18 to 24 months. And I think that only accelerates in the next few months.
I mean, it is like the drumbeat at RFG is growing louder by the day as the team has increasingly turned their posture to embracing AI. We're seeing examples of hours saved. I mean, literally daily. It's coming out of all corners of the firm: compliance, marketing, operations, obviously technology.
100%. And everyone at RFG has embraced this, which is so exciting to see. And I do think that there is also at the same time a need for this deep engineering skill set capability, which Zocks brings. So if you want to build institutional caliber capabilities, you need a partner who has those kinds of resources available and that institutional knowledge. So there are a bunch of layers here, but we are moving quickly. Remember, Claude and Anthropic, they started with the code-based, disruption and how you write code. So not only are we moving faster from an agentic capability on what's available to advisors, you're also moving faster on how quickly, because cycle times are so fast, you're getting this software to market. And so I would argue right now, being an independent with this kind of capability, you're going to see more going on in your practice from a capability standpoint using technology than bigger firms are able to do in years.
Right.
Because bigger firms have a lot more complexity, stakeholders. You're going to be looking at the nimble firms like RFG to take advantage in the marketplace now of what's actually possible and available.
One thing that I love that you've been, talking consistently with our team and with our advisors is this whole notion of AI is not disrupting jobs and people in the fear-mongering way that the headlines are screaming about, and that the most powerful position to be in is, I'm gonna turn a phrase right back at you: human in the loop. What does that mean? And what is some of the research that you did that really guided you into that position? Because it's proving to be so powerful for our teams as an unlock.
Yes. And first, I think those firms that are growing will actually be hiring more people because of these capabilities in AI, because we're going to be growing a lot faster. More advisors are going to be joining. And so number one, I think from a position of what does AI do to growth sector companies, it actually helps accelerate our growth trajectory because our capabilities to advisors are getting more robust. The other thing that I think is super important is a concept that I've talked a lot about called the Kasparov Principle. Gary Kasparov, chess player, grandmaster, for many years. There was this one moment in 1998, and this story I think is known by a lot of folks, where he was beaten for the first time by a computer, and it was IBM's Deep Blue computer, and that happened in New York City in 1998. In subsequent years, that was kind of a watershed disruption moment where a computer could beat a grandmaster, the grandmaster in chess. The Kasparov Principle, though, instead of kind of retreating, Gary Kasparov leaned into it, and he realized that his capability as a grand chess master with the capabilities of what was coming on the machine side, he was much more powerful. Mm-hmm. So human plus machine was better than human or machine.
Right.
So the creativity of the human, taking that essence of what makes us able to communicate, the essence of what makes us unique, whether it's an advisor or a chess master, and then pairing that with a machine capability is infinitely more powerful than just turning things over to machines, especially I would argue in our industry. And so this concept of the Kasparov Principle is something that we're leaning into heavily, which means human in the loop in everything we do, but powered by machine and AI.
One thing that I think we have seen unfold and is going to be, I think, showing up more frequently in the press is that there's this idea that it's going to be easier to DIY it as a result of AI. And I actually believe the exact opposite. I think business is getting more complicated. The cyber risk, the PII, the complexity of these, the data orchestration layer, leveraging AI for repeatable, digital worker, full-time employees, deploying those. I mean, this is complex stuff.
I totally agree. And I think it's one thing to say, take a family vacation at Disney World and you plan that using your favorite AI bot. It's another thing to run your business off of it with PII. I think this is really important for advisors. So get a partner.
Yeah.
Don't do it yourself. Great to play on the edges, but not in your core business, not with core capabilities. I'm just super excited. As you know, we've both been in this industry a long time. I think we are in very early innings of one of the most exciting and disruptive points in our industry. I think human in the loop wins. And I think the winners ultimately will be those that enable advisors to take advantage of this amazing technology to better serve their customers and clients. And that cultural element, that business need is what should be at the core of all of this development that we're doing. And I love where we sit in this ecosystem, our size, our culture, our scale. We're going to take advantage of this in partnership with Zocks, and I couldn't be more excited about it.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us.
Content here is for illustrative purposes and general information only. It is not legal, tax, or individualized financial advice, nor is it a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any specific security or engage in any specific trading strategy. Information here may be provided in part by third-party sources. These sources are generally deemed to be reliable. However, neither our guest nor RFG Advisory guarantee the accuracy of third-party sources. The views expressed here are those of our guest. They do not necessarily represent those of RFG Advisory, its employees, or its clients. This commentary should not be regarded as a description of advisory services provided by RFG Advisory or performance returns of any client. The views reflected in the commentary are subject to change at any time without notice. Securities offered by registered representatives of Private Client Services, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered by investment advisory representatives of RFG Advisory, a registered investment advisor. Private Client Services and RFG Advisory are unaffiliated entities. Advisory services are only offered to clients or prospective clients where RFG Advisory and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. No advisory services may be rendered by RFG Advisory unless a client agreement is in place. RFG Advisory is an SEC-registered investment advisor. SEC registration does not constitute an endorsement of RFG by the Commission, nor does it indicate that RFG or any associated investment advisory representative has attained a particular level of skill or ability.